Hello, today we are going to have a close look on how to split the engine of a Vespa PX. This is a PX 200E 1993, I think. And this is pretty much how the engine looks when you get it out of the frame. All I've done is that I removed the carburetor and carburetor casing. This is nothing you have to do to split the engine, but since I'm going to take all of this engine apart and change bearings and so on, clean it up and everything and rebuild it, I have already started with that. But basically this is what it looks like when you get it out of the frame. If you don't know how to get your engine out from your frame, then you can take a look at my videos. I have a video there about how to remove the engine from the frame. It's not a big deal. Now, to split your engine, you must of course remove the cylinder, which is behind this cover. You have 12 bolts around the engine that you need to loosen. You need to remove your gear selector box, the flywheel that's behind this cover, and or the clutch which is behind this cover. This is not totally necessary to remove, but you can come across a problem when you're trying to split the engine casing, and that is that your crankshaft is stuck in the bearings on one or both sides here. So I usually remove this also, because if it's loose in this end you can get it out from here, and if it's loose in this end you can get it out from here. So I usually take both the clutch and flywheel. First of all, we're going to remove the cylinder, and to do that we need to remove this cover here. This is held by one screw here, one down here and one here, and then you can pop it off. So, and one thing before you continue, make sure that you have drained the oil from the engine. So now we have our cylinder head here, and this is very easy to remove. So this is basically held by 4 nuts here. So if you remove them, you can pop your head off and then you can remove the cylinder. But you need to remove this distance here first. This distance is for the cover, plastic cover that was around here, because underneath here you have a nut. Now you can access all 4 of the nuts. So remove these. So now the head should come off easily. Like that. Now that the head is off, your cylinder is also loose and should come off without any big problems. Just wiggle it a bit. There we go. So that's the first step. We have the cylinder and cylinder head off. If you want to, you can remove your piston. It's not necessary. But since you're going to split the engine, you might as well do it. To remove the piston, you need to remove these circles here. You have one on each side, and then you can push this piston rod out and then pop it off. That's your piston out. You can remove this needle bearing here so it doesn't fall out. Next thing I would say is to remove the flywheel. To remove the flywheel, we need to remove this cover here. That's now held by 1, 2, 3 screws. Then you can lift this off. Removing this screw here, then you have a cable for your ignition that you can just put away. Remember to put it back. And when you remove this in the bottom here, your gear selector cover will come off also, like that. There we have our flywheel, and a lot of sand because I've been doing some blasting around here. Now we can remove this nut here. Usually this means you need a special tool to lock your flywheel here. You can also try to have a crowbar or something and lock it here and then loosen this. This is the special tool you need to lock your flywheel. You put it like this, but if you don't have one of these, you can take your crowbar like this, then it will come loose. To remove the flywheel here, you need a special flywheel puller that looks like this, that you just screw in like this. There we go, that's the flywheel. Now we can remove our stator plate here because we need to reach these nuts that are behind here. This is simply held by 3 Phillips screws. Then you have your cables going up here into this black box and then down to your CDI unit, so you can disconnect them here and then pull it out. Now we're going to disconnect our cables from the CDI unit, like that. Then we can take the stator plate, carefully pull these. Oops. There we go. On your shaft here you have a Woodruff key for your flywheel. You want to remove this and put it somewhere safe so you don't lose it. Now I'm going to do my kick here. This is only held by this screw here, so you loosen this and take it off. Then we're going to do our gear selector box, which is held by 2 nuts here, and then you can wiggle it out. That's the kick off. The gear selector I usually put in 4th gear, and then we can easily just take these washers, just pull this a bit up, and it comes off. Now we can go ahead and removing these 12 nuts. You have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 4 in here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 on the back side here, 1 here, and 1 here. And then you have all the nuts loose. Now the nuts are off and everything then need to loosen to get this crankcase side off is loosened. So now it all depends on how hard this shaft sits in the bearings. If I have some bad luck, I need to heat this up really much to get it out, and I have not loosened the clutch yet. We're going to give it a little carefully, see if it comes loose. Okay, look, it comes there. So maybe if I'm lucky, I can get this off without removing the clutch and without any heat. Here we go. Whoops! That's the spring for the kick. It came out. Now that's your engine casings apart. Now you can go ahead and do the work you intended to do. Not that difficult of a job. If your crankshaft is not stuck, I would say you do this half an hour to an hour. So don't be afraid to try it yourselves. Thanks for watching.